Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today I'm going to be talking about side quests. Side quests are something that many people have asked me, like in my how long does it take to beat Wizard101, people asked, are you including side quests? Are side quests even worth doing? How much should I do? Is the game going to take way longer if I do them? I've gotten a few questions about that since the console edition came out, so today I thought that I would answer the question, are side quests worth doing in Wizard101? So first off, to start out, what are side quests and why should you potentially do them? Well, obviously side quests are side objectives in Wizard101 that are optional and aren't necessary to complete the main quest. So for example, I actually walked past it. You can see over there Grace Conrad and Edward Kitchen have a quest above them that I didn't need to do. Obviously I'm level 170 and I can pick them up. I didn't when I was in Celestia, but I can. Now side quests can realistically be anything. They can be any like side objective like find this or beat this enemy, defeat and collect this, beat this boss. It's similar to a main quest. It has all the same aspects, but you don't need to do it. Now, why would you do a side quest in Wizard101? There are three main reasons I would say to do a side quest. The first one, and the most obvious one, is they give XP. Now, personally, I would say if you're doing side quest for the XP, it's usually not worth it, and there's a few reasons for that. First off, the XP that you get from those side quests will boost your level, and you will be over leveled. However, it tends to even out. What I mean by this is because XP increases every single time per level to level up, and the later worlds give more XP, doing side quests in the early world will end up evening out later on. So for example, in my Let's Play series, I'm level 50 in Mushu right now, right? And that's obviously way over leveled. If you're in Mushu, you're probably not even going to be 40 by the time you're done with it, and I'm almost level 50. That's like a sizable increase. However, by the time I get to Avalon or say Azteca, if I don't do any more side quests, I'm only going to probably be 2 to 3 levels over leveled rather than 10, because obviously every single time you level up, it takes more XP to level up and it ends up evening out. Now, the reason why you would want to do them for XP is potentially to get gear sets or specific things in the game earlier on. So for example, and the reason why I'm doing it is if I hit level 60 before Celestia, I can farm for Waterworks gear prior to Celestia, which is going to be crazy because obviously I'll be massively more powerful than someone who didn't do that and probably reach level 60 at the end of Celestia. The power spike is going to be earlier. That's the main reason why you'd want to do it, which brings us to our second point and the reason why you'd want to do side quest, which is gear. Now, obviously, if you want to know specific gear sets to farm, go watch my what gear is worth farming in Wizard101 video. I answered that question like within the last week. I uploaded a video on it. I'm not going to be talking about in this video specific gear sets worth farming. If you want to know those, go to that video. However, obviously a lot of gear sets in this game you need to do a side quest to unlock. So like Waterworks, you need to go to Blad Raveneye in Wizard City. Darkmoor, you have to do the Darkmoor quest by going to Dworgen, so on and so forth. If you want to know what side quests to farm gear for, that's another video. Finally, and another huge thing that I think is rather underrated in terms of doing side quests is gold skeleton keys. Now, some of you might not even know that you can actually do this or get this, but if you complete every side quest in a world, you are rewarded with a gold skeleton key. If you come to your badges here and you see I have complete all quests in Krokotopia. This is all the main quest and all the side quests, and I click it, you can see completion rewards, I get a gold skeleton key, which I can claim a reward right here. Every world, as far as I know, has this kind of badge. And so potentially you can get upwards of 20 gold skeleton keys from doing all of the side quests. Now, what are gold skeleton keys and how are they useful? A gold skeleton key is used on skeleton key bosses that drop spell elements. So for example, in Celestia, where I am right now, in the Science Center, there is the boss Drowned Dan, which takes a gold skeleton key. This boss drops the Celestian spell-elemental spells, including Ship of Fools, and Ship of Fools is a 4-pip death AoE, which obviously they don't train naturally. So you need to farm spell elements to actually get Ship of Fools. Similarly, Life to get their Rat Spin card needs to farm King Boar in Grizzleheim. So if you were a life or a death, doing these side quests and getting a gold skeleton key is going to be much more worth it for you than for other people. However, other schools may want different spell elements of spells that they can't train naturally, and to do that, I would recommend doing doing some side quests to farm gold skeleton keys. In terms of why you would do side quests, that actually leads us into the section of what quests you should do, because there are 2 more side quests that are definitely worth doing in this game that you should potentially do when you're actually going through the game. Now, the first one is crafting quest. Now, you start this by going to Eudora Tangletree in Old Town, like next to the bazaar. She will get you started with crafting. The reason why crafting is useful is later on there may be certain gear sets you want to craft, or certain aspects of gear you want to craft, or heck, even just actually like a recipe. Like, you can craft castles in this game, which is interesting. This guy does not sell the castle recipe. I think it's over here, but you can craft castles, which is pretty dang cool because they tend to be very unique and most people don't have them or have even seen them in the game. I think there's 4 that you can actually craft. So the Celestial Observatory right here, if I preview it, look at this. This is a cool house, and I bet you most people have never seen this house because it does take a lot to craft, and crafting potentially can be useful for that. It can also be useful for crafting spells. Like, there are certain lore spells that instead of farming for gold skeleton keys, you could do crafting quests to get, and you need to be at least a legendary crafter for that, which is Zafaria crafting. Now, the next type of side quest that I would definitely recommend is training point side quests, and I went over literally all of the training point side quests in my last video on what spells to train in Wizard101, so go watch that if you want to know the answer for that. But there are like 40 training point side quests in this game, and doing those is always really worth it. Specifically the Zeke quests, they tend to give a decent amount of XP, and they give you that training point, which is going to be useful for training all the spells in the game you want to know. So those are 2 quests that I think you should do. Let's get into actually what side quests are worth doing in the game. Now, there is no specific answer for this because in this game there are hundreds of side quests, and I'm not going to go like, oh, you should do this side quest in Mushu from this guy because that's such a good quest. I'm not going to do that because there are, again, hundreds of side quests in this game, and if I go individually case by case, it's going to take years. So let's just generalize what side quests you should do. First off, I would recommend taking anything that either gives a large amount of XP or their quest objective overlaps with a main quest objective. Now, what I mean by this is, in Unicorn Way, for example, the old lady in the beginning gives a side quest to defeat a skeletal pirate, and similarly, Sarah Nightchant in the main quest, right when you can pick up that side quest, gives a quest to beat a skeletal pirate. So if you accept both and defeat one skeletal pirate, it counts for both quests. There are going to be a lot of quests in this game that you can actually do that for, like side quests you can pick up and it coincides with the main quest objective, and you can complete both at the same time. Basically, it's free XP. You don't have to do any more extra work, and you get an extra amount of XP on top of the main quest. So that's going to be useful. Now, in terms of like what side quests to do in terms of the different worlds and different arcs, I would personally recommend, if you're wanting to do side quests for gold skeleton keys or even just getting XP, I would say Arc 1 and Arc 2, so Wizard City through Dragonspire and then Celestia through Chrysalis, all of those side quests are probably worth doing to at least someone. Like, if you want to be a little overleveled, if you want to have fun going in the lore of the game and you want to have fun doing side quests, those are the side quests to do, because in Arc 1 and Arc 2, the side quests are quite a bit different than the side quests in Arc 3 and Arc 4. Polaris is a bit of an exception to that, but we'll talk about that next after this. But the reason for that is that in Arc 3 and 4, King Xaldos had to change side quests, so side quests' main kind of attraction is that there are side bosses that offer a difficult challenge that might offer some drops, or potentially even a badge. That is the case for a lot of worlds post-Caramel, so Arc 4 worlds. A lot of those side quests aren't worth doing because they don't give XP anymore, and most of the drops kind of suck. So realistically, Arc 3 and Arc 4, doing those side quests isn't really even going to get you anything. That's kind of the issue, because like, if you're not really getting anything from the side quest, what's the point of even doing it? If you want to do side quests, that's what I recommend. Arc 3 and Arc 4, no. Now let's talk about the exception, which is Polaris. Polaris is before they decided to stop adding XP to side quests. Some Polaris side quests give like an upwards of 3 to 500,000 XP, which is a lot of XP. At that point in the game, it's going to probably keep you a little over leveled, which is pretty good. I like personally being over leveled, so if you do as well, Polaris side quests can be very useful for that. Like, I know there's a side quest chain that you can do that gives like a total of 1,000,000+ XP, which is a lot for that stage of the game. But anything post Polaris tends to just give gold, which realistically, it's not even a lot of gold. It's like 1,000 gold, and 1,000 gold's not even going to give you anything. You can get that in like 10 seconds by doing one battle with an AoE. So generally, those are the side quests worth doing. Now, finally, let's just get into the wrap-up section. Should you do side quests in the game? Obviously, you can get through this entire game without doing side quests. For example, my death right now, I showed you the Krakatopia badge, but I don't have a single other complete all side quest badge in any other world because I didn't do any side quests on my death. My death basically has no side quest in any world done, and you can see that when I was walking around Celestia here in the background. Hey to the one guy who said stop walking around aimlessly in your videos. No, I'm not going to do that. There are a ton of side quests I haven't done because I just didn't want to. I wanted to go through the game as fast as possible to get to max level with this wizard because I didn't really want to just sit back and play the game for 500 hours. Now, if I went on my myth, this is a completely different story because my myth has every side quest badge all the way up to like Azteca, I think. I have all of them because I enjoyed doing side quests and I got through the game quite a bit slower, but I enjoyed the game. You know what I mean? So if you want to sit back and have a long and fun time playing this game, do side quests. If you don't, if you want to just get to max level, if your whole idea of fun in a video game is getting to that max level, maxing stats, stuff like that, then do that instead of doing all these side quests, because side quests otherwise are just kind of a waste of time. So I hope that answered your question on whether you should do side quests in Wizard 101. That's going to be it for today. A bit of a shorter video today because I figure that this topic isn't something that I need to talk about for 25 minutes. In this game, again, it's mainly just if you want gold keys or gear sets. Otherwise, there's no real point in doing side quests. And also, I want to play Pokemon. I've been playing the hell out of Legends ZA, and it is such a good game. Like, already I can tell you it's going to be in probably my top 3 Pokemon games of all time, and it is so fun. So, I'm going to edit this video, I'm going to upload it, and then I'm going to be playing Legends ZA again for a long time. Played like 10 hours yesterday. Isn't that crazy? Anywho, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a fantastic day.